All right, so buckle up because today we are diving deep into a maritime mystery that had the whole world on edge back in 1866.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of this one.
We're talking ships encountering a massive, fast, even glowing sea creature.
Sounds spooky.
It really does, and it set off a global frenzy. Everyone wanted to find this thing. We're going to be using excerpts from two Jules Verne novels,
Okay.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and The Hunt for the Sea Monster.
Of course, the classics.
Now, they're fiction, sure, but Verne was a stickler for detail. He wove real science and what people were saying back then into his stories.
Makes you wonder what he might have believed himself.
It really does. And what I find fascinating is how these fictional accounts capture how obsessed the public was with the unknown. How did people react?
That's a good question.
What was it about science and storytelling mixing together that made these narratives so gripping?
Well, you hit the nail on the head there. It's that blend of science and imagination that you see in Verne and in the whole historical context. If you look at how things unfolded, it's like a slow burn. The Governor Higginson, July 1866, off the coast of Australia, they reported these huge jets of water shooting up, unlike anything they'd ever seen.
Wow.
Then a bit later, the Cristobal Colon, same thing. And then, get this, the Helvetia and the Shannon, they both saw the creature at the same time, but from different spots.
So they could get a sense of how big it was.
Exactly. They estimated it to be over 100 meters long.
Longer than a football field. So this wasn't just like a one-off sighting.
No way a definite pattern was emerging.
Before the internet, before instant communication even, how did this news travel and become such a worldwide phenomenon?
It's pretty remarkable when you think about it.
Yeah.
Information moved through shoeing routes, newspapers, word of mouth.
Right.
And this story about the sea monster, it just spread like wildfire.
Wow.
And as more reports came in, it wasn't just sailors' tales anymore.
No.
The scientists, they started paying attention.
Yeah.
That's where Professor Aronnax comes into play.
Oh, yeah. He wasn't just some random guy. He was already a big name in undersea mysteries. He even wrote a book called, what was it, Mysteries of the Great Submarine Depths or something.
Exactly. He was the expert.
This wasn't just a job for him. This was his passion.
Precisely. And when he gets involved, it's a turning point.
Right.
Now you've got respected scientists taking these reports seriously. It's not just folklore anymore. Science is officially on the case. This gives the whole mystery a sense of legitimacy, which just further fuels public interest and concern.
Oh, and then, of course, you can't have a giant sea monster running around without the U.S. government getting in on the action.
True.
They equipped this state-of-the-art frigate.
The Abraham Lincoln.
Yes, the Abraham Lincoln.
Now that's the one.
Just for this expedition. They were even offering, get this, a $2,000 reward.
Wow.
For the first person to spot the creature.
That's a lot of money back then.
A fortune. They were not messing around.
That financial incentive really shows you how seriously they were taking this threat. Can you imagine being on that ship, setting sail from Brooklyn down to South America, around Cape Horn, and then into the Pacific?
Weeks at sea.
Weeks? Just scanning the horizon?
The anticipation must have been incredible.
Building every single day.
Like a scene from a movie.
Exactly.
But not everyone on board was convinced.
Oh, right. Ned Land.
Ned Land, the Canadian harpooner.
The best there is.
A veteran whaler. And he scoffed at the idea of this monster.
Didn't believe it at all.
Nope, he dismissed it, along with all the other wild theories going around at the time, like meteors crashing into the sea.
Or dinosaurs living in the Earth's core.
Exactly.
Ned's skepticism is so important, don't you think? It grounds the story.
It does.
It makes it feel more real because it acknowledges that not everyone was buying into the hype.
Right.
He's the voice of reason, the counterpoint to all the fear and speculation.
It's so interesting how a fictional character can make you think about the importance of healthy skepticism. Even when it seems like there's so much evidence, you have to question things.
Absolutely.
Look at the facts.
Don't just jump to conclusions.
Yeah.
And we'll see, even Ned Land, the ultimate pragmatist, will be forced to face the extraordinary.
So weeks turn into months. The Abraham Lincoln is crisscrossing the Pacific, and hope is starting to fade.
I can imagine.
Captain Farragut gives them a 3-day deadline.
Find the monster or they turn back.
Right. Find the monster or back to Europe.
It's down to the wire.
It really is. And then, bam, on the night of November 5th, Ned Land shouts, "Alerta! Vejo o monstro!"
There it is.
And what they see completely shatters all expectations.
Not your average whale.
No.
Verne describes this intense electric light coming from beneath the surface.
Wow!
Rapid movements, erratic.
It's circling the Abraham Lincoln, almost like it's playing with them.
Toying with them.
This is something else entirely.
It really is.
The electric light especially, it's such a vivid detail.
Right.
It instantly sets this creature apart from any known sea animal.
It does.
Gives it that otherworldly, almost alien quality.
And don't forget, this is 1866.
Right.
Electricity was still this new, mysterious force.
Hmm.
By giving his sea monster electrical powers, Verne taps into the public's fascination with this emerging technology and all its seemingly limitless potential.
That's a great point. So now we've got this electrifying sea creature, and the chase is on cannons fire, but they just bounce harmlessly off its surface.
This is tough.
Ned Land, expert harpooner, tries his luck. The creature's too fast, too elusive.
So slippery.
And then, just as the Abraham Lincoln is about to make one last attempt to engage, the creature attacks.
Oh, no.
It launches these two massive jets of water that hit the ship with unbelievable force. Professor Aronnax is thrown overboard.
And that's where we leave it for now.
What's going to happen to the professor? What is this creature? We'll have to find out in part 2 of our deep dive into this 19th century maritime mystery. Last time, we left Professor Aronnax taking a very unexpected dip in the ocean after that incredible attack. You'd think that'd be the end of him. But with Jules Verne,
And never know.
things are never that straightforward.
Definitely not.
What happens next is, well, it's mind-blowing.
I bet it.
All those descriptions
Yeah.
of a whale-like creature, that was just the outside
Yeah.
of something way more extraordinary.
What was it then?
It turns out, Aronnax finds himself clinging to the monster itself.
No way.
But it's not a sea creature at all. What he finds is this massive metallic vessel, like nothing anyone had ever seen before.
So what, a ship?
It's called the Nautilus,
Wait, a submarine? Back in 1866?
a submarine, but not just any submarine.
I can only imagine.
Verne envisioned this technological marvel years ahead of its time.
Wow.
The Nautilus could reach incredible speeds, go to unbelievable depths, and it was all powered by electricity.
That's insane.
Think about it. Electricity was just in its infancy back then.
Right.
And Verne imagines this vessel harnessing that power to navigate the depths of the ocean.
Amazing.
And we get to experience all this through Aronnax's journal entries, which are just full of awe and wonder at what he's discovered.
I bet.
He's gone from a respected scientist to this explorer, witnessing something that completely changes the boundaries of human knowledge.
That's quite the transformation.
It is.
And that's one of the things I love about Verne.
What's that?
He takes this fantastical idea, this encounter with the unknown,
Yeah.
and he grounds it with all this meticulous scientific detail.
Right.
He describes the Nautilus's inner workings, the systems, its huge library,
Huh.
all with such precision that you almost believe it could exist.
Like he's giving us a blueprint for the future.
Exactly.
So Aronnax, along with his faithful servant Conseil,
Conseil, right?
they're taken aboard the Nautilus and meet its mysterious captain, Nemo.
Captain Nemo, such a fascinating character.
He is, isn't he?
A brilliant engineer.
Genius inventor.
But also, so complex and conflicted.
He's cut himself off from the world, seeking refuge in the ocean depths. What drives someone to do that?
It's the big question, isn't it? It's what makes Nemo so intriguing.
Yeah.
Verne reveals it slowly throughout the story. You get hints of tragedy, a feeling that he's disillusioned with the world above.
So for the next several months,
Aronnax and Conseil.
they become, I guess you could say, Nemo's guests.
Guests.
And they embark on this incredible underwater journey.
Wow.
They travel vast distances,
I can only imagine.
exploring coral reefs, shipwrecks, even the ruins of Atlantis.
What?
They see the beauty and wonder, but also the dangers of this hidden world.
It's amazing to think that during Verne's time, most of the ocean was still uncharted territory.
It was, right?
His descriptions of these underwater landscapes, they were based on the science of the time, but they also drew on the public's imagination
Fueling that sense of wonder.
and the desire to explore the unknown.
He was writing science fiction, but in a way, he was also inspiring real-world exploration and scientific discovery.
Absolutely.
We can't forget about the giant squid.
Oh, that's a must. The encounter with the giant squid is one of the most iconic scenes in the book.
It is.
And remember, at this time,
Yeah.
the giant squid was basically a creature of myth and legend.
Right.
Verne's description, based on what little scientists knew then,
Uh-huh.
it helped solidify the squid's place as this ultimate sea monster, a creature that still captivates us today.
It really does. So we've got adventure, scientific discovery, and giant squid. But amidst all this, there's also this underlying tension,
Right.
this unease, this sense that Nemo, for all his brilliance, is a troubled man,
Yeah.
haunted by something.
Yeah, he's capable of great kindness, but also these outbursts of rage, violence even.
He's both a savior and a destroyer almost.
That duality, that's at the heart of Nemo's character.
A symbol of our own complicated relationship with the natural world.
Definitely.
And let's not forget about Ned Land.
Oh, right, Ned.
He's gone from skeptic to captive.
A big shift.
And in a way, he becomes this kind of moral compass for the story.
How so?
He represents that pull of the familiar, the human need for connection, which is the opposite of Nemo's isolation.
That's a good point. Ned's there as a constant reminder of the world Aronnax left behind.
The world Nemo seems determined to reject completely.
Their journey takes them across the Pacific, through the Indian Ocean, into the Red Sea, even under the ice at the South Pole.
It's a real epic adventure.
It is.
And through it all, Verne doesn't just entertain, he educates too.
How so?
He weaves in descriptions of marine life, geographical features, historical events.
Right.
It's like he's using the Nautilus in its journey to explore the whole world.
Both above and below the surface.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
And it's not just about the natural world. Verne also explores themes of technology, colonialism, the impact humans have on the environment.
Yeah, this is the 19th century, remember?
A time of massive industrialization and global expansion.
Right.
Verne, through Nemo, seems to be raising questions about the consequences of all this, of unchecked technology and the exploitation of natural resources.
I see what you mean. Nemo's Nautilus, it's a marvel of engineering, sure.
Yeah.
But it's also a weapon, something capable of destruction.
He uses it to attack ships, to defend himself, to get his own kind of justice.
It's like a cautionary tale.
About the power we have and the responsibility that comes with it.
Definitely.
So they're on this incredible journey, and meanwhile, the rest of the world is still searching for the monster.
Completely unaware of what they're really chasing.
It makes you think about how much of what we think we know is shaped by our own assumptions, by the stories we choose to believe.
And even in this fantastical world, there are glimpses of real anxieties from Verne's time.
Like what?
The fear of the unknown, the threat of war, the fight for power and control.
The Abraham Lincoln, the ship they sent to hunt the monster?
What about it?
It represents the military might of the United States, which was expanding its influence all over the globe back then. It's as if Nemo's Nautilus is a challenge to that authority.
A force operating outside the rules.
But as Aronnax and Conseil spend more time on the Nautilus,
Yeah.
that tension between wanting to go home and their fascination with this underwater realm and with Nemo himself.
It grows stronger.
It does. That conflict between what's known and what's unknown, it's something we all face at some point.
Absolutely.
And as they journey on, it becomes clear that escaping the Nautilus won't be easy.
I bet.
But even amidst the danger and uncertainty, there are moments of beauty, of wonder, of genuine connection.
There are.
Yeah, Aronnax's descriptions of the underwater landscapes, the strange creatures they encounter,
Yeah.
they're filled with this awe and appreciation for nature. It's like he's rediscovering something he lost up above.
That's the beauty of Verne's writing.
It is.
He reminds us that even when facing the unknown, there's still beauty to find, knowledge to gain, and a sense of wonder to nurture.
We left off with Professor Aronnax and Conseil caught between wanting to go home and the pull of Nemo's Nautilus and this incredible underwater world.
Right, and it wasn't just sightseeing down there. We're starting to see that Captain Nemo has an agenda, and it might not be a peaceful one.
Yeah, remember that $2,000 reward the U.S. government was offering?
Oh yeah, that was just the beginning.
Everyone was obsessed with catching this monster.
It seems like all that attention, all those ships hunting him, might have made him bitter, don't you think?
It's possible. As the story goes on, we learn that Nemo's isolation is not just a personal choice. It's fueled by this deep resentment towards humanity.
Yeah.
He's out for revenge.
So he's not just hiding, he's fighting back.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
does that make it right? Attacking ships, putting lives at risk.
It's a tough question.
Can we understand his motives while still questioning his methods?
That's the moral dilemma Verne throws at us.
He doesn't give us easy answers.
No.
He makes us think about the complexities of right and wrong, that blurry line between vengeance and justice.
It's not black and white.
And Aronnax, as he learns more about Nemo, his own conflict grows stronger.
Yeah, he's torn between his curiosity as a scientist, his admiration for Nemo's genius.
And his growing unease with Nemo's increasingly destructive actions.
Remember, Aronnax is a man of science. He believes in reason and observation.
Right.
But on the Nautilus, he's facing something that defies logic, a world where It's hard to tell who's the hero and who's the villain.
Nemo's this walking contradiction, a brilliant mind capable of creating amazing things, but also capable of terrible destruction.
Makes you wonder how much we can separate a person from their actions.
It does. It's a question that still resonates with us today.
Are we defined by our past, by the things we've done?
Or can we choose a different path?
Exactly.
And all this time, Ned Land, ever the pragmatist, he never gives up hope of getting back to the surface.
He's the voice of reason.
He reminds us that even in the most extraordinary circumstances, we long for the familiar, the comfort of human
We
connection.
need to belong.
And it's that longing for freedom that eventually leads to their escape.
They do escape.
In a dramatic climax, the Nautilus gets caught in a maelstrom, this swirling vortex of water that threatens to pull them all down.
And the maelstrom, it's almost symbolic
Of what?
of the chaos and destruction that Nemo's rage has unleashed.
That's a really interesting point. This uncontrollable force of nature, it mirrors the turmoil within Nemo himself.
A reminder that even in the depths of the ocean, we can't escape the consequences of our choices.
But somehow, amidst the chaos, Aronnax, Conseil, and Ned Land managed to escape the Nautilus in a small boat,
Wow, just in time.
just as the submarine is pulled down into the abyss.
That must have been terrifying.
Their escape is dangerous.
I can imagine.
But it symbolizes a return to reason, a rejection of Nemo's path of vengeance.
They choose a different path.
They survive, carrying with them the knowledge and experiences of their incredible journey. But the fate of Captain Nemo and the Nautilus, it remains a mystery.
So we don't know what happens to them.
Did they go down with the maelstrom, or did they somehow survive to continue their journey alone?
It's left up to our imagination.
And that's the brilliance of Verne. He leaves us with questions, with wonder, with possibilities.
It makes you want to keep exploring to find out more.
So what can we take away from this deep dive into Jules Verne's underwater world?
Well, for me, it's a reminder of the incredible potential of human ingenuity.
But also the potential consequences of what we do,
Yeah.
the impact we have on the world.
It's a call to explore, to learn, to question.
But to also remember our responsibility to the world around us, to each other.
Absolutely.
It's a story about adventure, about science, about the complex nature of humanity.
A story that still resonates today.
It sparks our imagination,
Yeah.
makes us think about the big questions even after all these years.
If you had the chance, would you build your own Nautilus?
That's a good question. Where would you go? What wonders would you seek in the vast depths of the ocean? The ocean still holds so many mysteries waiting to be discovered.
It does. There's so much left to explore.
And on that note, we'll leave you to continue exploring, keep questioning, keep diving deep.